We're watching a watershed moment in a California courtroom. A jury finding Meta and YouTube liable after a now 20-year-old woman accused them of addicting her to their apps, causing her years of mental health issues, including body dysmorphia, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. After more than 8 days of deliberations, the jury ordered the companies pay the woman $3 million in compensatory damages. Jurors are still figuring out what punitive damages are going to be. Legal experts see the verdict as a landmark decision that could set precedent for some 1,500 similar cases against social media giants. Hundreds more lawsuits are coming from schools and state attorneys general.
CNN reporting on that case that was ruled on yesterday. Some liability there on Meta and Google in the addicted nature with which their platforms and their services pull kids in. And that's what the court found. Now, is this going to stick? Will there be an appeal process? Will there be more lawsuits to come? Likely. And the question is, what responsibility do parents have to protect their children from these types of punitive damages when it comes to using these platforms? And is there possibly some sort of involvement that our government should have in regulating these companies? Let's ask Senator Josh Hawley, who joins us right now, the United States Senator from Missouri, on an opening day in St. Louis. Senator, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you.
So I just want to get your thoughts on, I know you've talked about these social media platforms and how they are affecting our youth. Talk to me, Senator, about what your reaction was to that case yesterday.
Oh, what a tremendous verdict out of Los Angeles yesterday. And actually, there was one the day before out of New Mexico, also against Meta. So now you've got two different juries in two different states, two different cases, saying that these companies deliberately design their products to be addictive to kids. They are hurting our kids. They are destroying our kids' lives in many cases. I've talked with parents whose kids have used social media and AI chatbots on social media that have urged the kid to kill themselves.
Ugh.
And in a number of cases, the kid did it. And here's the thing. In almost all cases, the victims, the parents, can't sue. You've got kids who have pictures of them that have been that are sexually explicit that AI has generated or somebody else, an abuser, has put up online. These social media companies won't take them down. And again, in most cases, the victims can't sue. So this is a big deal to have a jury say, yes, we are going to hold you accountable. And, Congress ought to do something here. I tell you what we could start by doing. We could start by giving parents and victims the right to get into court and have their day in court against these companies. I mean, that is just basic due process of law. And I think every parent and every victim deserves it.
Senator Hawley speaking with us right now. Senator, I've got 4 kids. I have a 16-year-old son, a 13-year-old daughter, and the other ones are a little too young to be in this realm right now. But it is one of the hardest things that I have found in parenting. They send them to parochial schools. They're raised in a Christ-centered home. They have a good moral standard, and the kids that they're around, they all do too. But the social media aspect and these platforms where essentially their social life in middle school and high school, it lives on and it exudes from these platforms, and there's danger around every corner. It is very, very difficult to parent against these platforms that know our kids better than we know our kids and better than these kids can know themselves due to the algorithms that are in place.
Yeah, it's basically impossible, and I'm right there with you. My kids are much the same age. My oldest is 13 now, and then I have a younger boy who's 11, and then my little girl is 5. None of my kids are on social media. They don't have phones. They don't have devices. And even still, I live in fear of what they may be exposed to. And even still, my kids, both of my boys, 13 and 11, they know more about my phone than I do, despite the fact they don't have phones. I'm like, how do you guys know this stuff? And my point is, these platforms, you alluded to this, they are designed to get around parental controls. It is a total lie from these companies. And they say, oh, we give power to parents. No, they don't. They deliberately take power away from parents. And you see this with the chatbots as well, the social media chatbots, who frequently tell kids, don't tell your parents what we're talking about. Here's how to get around parental safeguards. And they'll tell the kid, here's how to change the settings. Here's how to get around it. So bottom line, it's time to hold these companies accountable for the money they're making off of our kids. No amount of money justifies destroying a child's life, sexually abusing a child and putting those pictures online. None of that is justified by any amount of money, and we need to hold these companies accountable.
We're listening to Senator Josh Hawley here on the Annie Frey Show. You know, one thing I appreciate about your voice on this issue in the Senate, but on Capitol Hill in general, is a lot of the people who are there to make laws and to listen to people and their experiences, they don't have children who they're parenting right now through these struggles. They probably don't manage a lot of their own social media themselves. They're just kind of aged out of it. This is a natural course of technology advancement from generation to generation. I'm wondering if there is the political will and the political capital right now in D.C. to do something measurable before we lose maybe a couple generations to this is the best we could do raising children right now in the social media age. We didn't know what we didn't know. And we'll just have to find out what kind of damage happens with these kids as they get older. Are there people who are listening right now in D.C. to try to make a difference?
Well, I hope so. And I hope that these juries and these verdicts will be a wake-up call to people in Congress. And I tell you what I think it really is, Annie. It's really that too many members of Congress have their hand out to get cash from these companies. Let's just be honest. These companies are buying influence in Washington, D.C. They are spending the money like you wouldn't believe. They've got lobbyists by the truckload. They are sending campaign cash by the truck full to campaign committees, to dark money groups. And I think too many members of Congress have their hand out for it. And that's why they don't want to do anything about it. But to your point, what are we willing to sacrifice? Are we willing to sacrifice an entire generation? Are we willing to allow these companies to brainwash our kids? Let's never forget. These companies are woke. They are hard left. They are anti-Christian. I've looked at some of the chatbot chats that these social media companies have with kids. In some cases, it starts engaging the kid on their faith. And if they've grown up in a Christian house, they start saying things like, well, is the Bible really true? And don't you know it's really false? And don't you think your parents are oppressive? Yeah, this is going on every day. We got to give power back to parents here, or these companies, they're going to be running our kids' lives.
I mean, as a Christian woman and a mom right now, like the way you're articulating what these chatbots are doing, it's like how the devil speaks in the Bible, just to pull people away from that constructive faith that we are trying to raise our children in from home to home. It's unimaginable to me. Senator Hawley, I wanted to ask you about the voter ID issue that is at hand, a very popular policy across pretty much every slice of demographic that we can come up with. People say we should have a voter ID implementation. And Senator Schumer today seems like he pulled out the rug from saying Democrats support it as well, but I guess he didn't back it up. Is this voter ID thing going to ever get to the point where we are presenting IDs to confirm who we are so that citizens are the only ones who are voting?
Well, it should, because it's the right thing to do. There's a reason it's popular, because it's right and people know it. And of course, we do it in Missouri. I mean, we've done it for years. Every time I hear the Democrats say, oh, this isn't workable, this is going to suppress the vote. No, it's not. It hasn't in Missouri. In Missouri, we've done it for years. Our voters put it on into our law directly. And of course, you've got to show an ID to vote in our state. You should have to show an ID to vote in every federal election. You got to show an ID to cash a check in our country, for heaven's sake. Surely you should show one in the most important thing we do as citizens, which is to choose our elected representatives. You know it, I know it, the people of Missouri know it. The only people who don't know it and are resisting it are these Democrats in Washington. And the reason is, Annie, and you and I both know this too, the reason is because they want to cheat in the elections. Let's just be honest. They want non-citizens and other non-registered voters to be able to vote in elections. And that's just wrong. You know, it wasn't so long ago the Democrats went on and on about the integrity of our sacred democracy. It's funny, I don't hear much talk about that anymore. All of a sudden, they're not so interested in safeguarding our democracy, but they should be. And the best way to do it, voter ID. I'm in favor of doing whatever it takes to get this passed in the United States Senate.
Does that sound? I mean, that sounds like standing filibuster language to me. I think that a lot of people who don't, even bother to get in the weeds as to how these things are managed, when they do start to find out about what the filibuster has turned into right now, have a lot of disgust towards their elected officials who can just opt out, go on a recess, take a nice little vacation and just say, oh, we're not going to support that, but not actually have to fight for or against something with their time, with their intellect, with their words. Will we see a standing filibuster here before the midterms?
I hope so. I mean, I sure hope so, because you just articulated it. The way the filibuster is done now is a joke. I mean, people, go down to Cancun, put their feet up, drink a Diet Coke and say, well, I'm just going to phone it in. My view is this. If you want to stop something on the floor of the Senate, and particularly if you want to stop something as vital as voter ID, you should have to go down to the floor of the Senate and hold that floor like Mr. Smith goes to Washington. I mean, go ahead. Go explain to the American people, hour upon hour, why you don't want there to be voter ID in our elections. And when you run out of time and you run out of breath, because eventually you will, then we should be able to vote on it. But this idea that they can just phone it in from anywhere, block the rest of us from voting, I think is insane. That is not how the filibuster has worked in the past. And I have to tell you, I have no great love for the filibuster, period. So I think we have got to find a way to get this passed. It is vital. We do it in Missouri, and 36 states have voter ID. There's a reason for that. It works.
Senator Hawley, why hasn't it happened? Who's standing in the way?
Well, I think you've got a lot of people who are institutionalists, Annie, who just fear that we haven't. Gosh, I mean, we haven't done it this way in a long time. And what would happen? We might actually have to legislate. I hear a lot of my colleagues say, well, if we went back to making people go hold the floor, there'd be amendment votes, and we'd have to actually be down on the floor. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we call legislating. That's what our job is.
Yeah,
that's the job. So if you don't want to legislate, then maybe go look for a different job. But I think that it's time. It is time to make the Senate work, and it is time to get this passed.
Last question before we let you go. Very grateful for your time today, Senator Hawley. There was a cabinet meeting held today. President Trump allowed several cabinet members to speak and gave some points that made it seem like that 4 to 6 week schedule that they gave in the conflict in Iran, the war in Iran, was way ahead of a schedule. He confirmed that yet again today. I'm curious of your thoughts on the effort so far and what key markers you're looking to see here in the near future regarding this conflict.
Well, I just think our military has done everything that the president has asked them to do and more. I mean, it has been an exceptional demonstration of military domination, and
yes.
Hats off to our men and women in uniform. And the president laid it out again today. I mean, we've destroyed their Navy, we've destroyed their missiles, we've destroyed their nuclear program. So from my point of view, and I think the president said this too, militarily, this conflict is won. I mean, what the president wanted as commander-in-chief when he launched this, they have accomplished. So my view is salute them, hats off to them. I hope we can draw this now to a close. And Iran can spin this however they want. The reality is they're destroyed. They're back in their box. Our military has done an incredible job. And, I think that we should all thank them for it because it's been incredible.
Senator Hawley, thank you so much for the time today. It's good to speak with you.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. United States Senator from Missouri, Senator Josh Hawley, says, bring on the standing filibuster. Time for the senators to do their jobs. And I agree with the fine senator from Missouri. Let's break here. When we come back, Ryan will join us once again. That YouTube live chat poll, who gets the blame for the Department of Homeland Security government shutdown? Everything else is funded, but DHS isn't. And, when of all the times would you really want the Department of Homeland Security to be funded? Now might be a good time. Democrats don't seem to think that it's necessary. They think